only fair to warn I was born with a set of horns and metaphors attached to my damn umbilical cord. Warlord of rap, little bastard with a 2x4 board and smashed into your Honda Accord with a 4-door Ford. But a more toward drop of an acapella, the chopper fella, the mozzarella, worse than a helicopter propeller. Got you locked in a cellar with your skeleton showing, developing anorexia. When I'm standing next to you, eating a full-course meal, watching you starve to death with an IV in your vein, feeding you liquid Darvocet, pumping you full of drugs. Pull the plugs from the gunshot victims full of bullet slugs, who were picked up in an ambulance and driven to receiving with the gases ripped out of their pants and given a less than 20% chance of living. Have a possible placement as a hospital patient, storing the dead bodies in grandma's little basement. Dr. Kevorkian has arrived to perform an autopsy on you while you scream, I'm still alive. Driving a rusty scalpel in through the top of your scalp and pulling your Adam's apple out through your mouth. Better call the fire department. I've hired an arson and set fire to carpet and burn up your entire apartment. I'm a liar to start shit. Got your bitch wrapped around my dick so tight you need a crowbar to pry her apart with. Motherfucker. Slim Shady, bitch. Recognize.
Hell yeah! What up? This is Busby, along with my boy JC.
What's cracking?
And this is episode 1 in 5 of the Illogical Sense podcast. That's right, 1 in 5. And if you don't know by now, we are finally on iTunes.
iTunes?
You guys were fucking begging me and everyone else for the longest time to put it on iTunes. So after, I guess now 15 episodes, we are now on iTunes.
Let's get it, man.
So, like, subscribe, leave comments, tell us what we need to do better. I don't care, but as long as we're on iTunes, the whole world heals us, Craig.
Leave a whole bunch of comments saying that Busby is just a Drake hater.
Damn right. Hell yeah. Yeah, but if you didn't hear by now, if you heard Eminem in the beginning, yesterday, well, we're recording this on Tuesday, this past Monday was his 44th birthday.
God damn.
Marshall Bruce Matters III turned 44. So happy birthday, Slim Shady. And we're going to do some reflection on his career. We're going to talk about his albums, talk about the best, the worst, his highlights, the lowlights, all that nice stuff. And, before we get into all that, this past Friday, me and JC went to the ScHoolboy Q concert.
Yeah, we did, man.
That shit was fucking lit, man.
Turn.
Shit, and also we had like a surprise appearance by Ivana. She popped up out of nowhere.
Just
literally out of nowhere.
Like, wait, what are you doing here?
What are you doing? Like, I was just on my phone and I look up and then she just pops up right there. Like, what the fuck? On some genie shit. But I remember when you reviewed the album like a few episodes back, you really fucked with the album and I was very about it. I told you it had to grow on me. And after the concert, I have to admit, the album officially grew on me.
Yeah, took too long.
But I told you the album was going to grow on me, bro.
Yeah.
And it grew on me.
3 months too long.
Well, it had to take a minute.
Yeah.
Well, whatever. Warriors predicted to defeat the Cavs. I don't care. So, yeah, and also there was like Joey Badass open that night too.
That was a great opener.
That was a great opener. Like,
what did you actually do during the opener? The last song hit and what happened?
I went in the mosh pit.
You did? Yeah.
I think I did. No, that was the first time when the DJ was playing DMX. I just went to mosh pit to know how it felt.
But then when we ran into Brendan and his boys, and then they played Devastation.
Oh yeah, I grabbed all y'all niggas. We were just jumping for joy. That shit was crazy. I did not like.
And then Devastation came and you're like, I'm going in there. It's like you just
no. There was another song. I forgot what the song was called. But yeah, I just went. I'm going in.
Yeah,
and me and the Asian
everything
dude
stopped. You just look. You just turn us. You go, I'm going in. Like, what?
And then I went in there and like it was just madness, and I was just like hitting everybody, pushing everyone. The Asian dude was with me. I was just hitting everybody, like, yeah, motherfucker, yeah. And then my asthma came up. I'm like, I'm done. So then later on in the show, when ScHoolboy Q went up there, like the show was almost to the end, and Ivana was like, "You want to go out there?" Yeah. and you followed me. I was surprised you went out there with me.
I've had experiences with a couple mosh pits before.
See, that was my first intense mosh pit because he did what, Man of the Year, and after that he put that part, and that was when it reached its peak.
It went
that
crazy.
shit went. And I had
There was some fights going on.
Yeah, I had to protect Ivana because she had heels on and shit like that. And I had to.
Busby's shoes were untied.
Motherfucker was stepping on my shoes on some stink meter shit. I had to, like nigga said, I smell new shoes. You know? It was fucking madness. No, it wasn't that Travis Scott madness, but it was madness.
I'm looking forward to Travis Scott madness.
Oh man, someone gonna die.
Yeah.
Well, I'm about to see Kanye on Saturdays, but I'm gonna be in the seats.
But as lit as it was, it just made it so much better with who we ran into when we first got in
as
the door.
me and JC walked into the venue, who was the first person we saw? We saw the legend.
The legend.
The legend known as Mike Rich. I just went, what the hell? What the hell?
I turned around and said, of course.
Of course.
Of course.
Of course.
Why wouldn't he be here?
Of course he's here. Of course he's here. You know, and he had a VIP lanyard on. I don't know how he had it. I even took a video. Like, how? How did you have this? And what did he tell you?
Hey man, it's what I do. This is my lifestyle.
This is my lifestyle.
Once he said that, I was done asking questions.
And then I didn't see him for the rest of the night. But then when we left, we're on the right back. I'm scrolling through freaking Instagram, and then I see a picture of him and ScHoolboy Q.
A picture of him and Joey Badass.
And Joey Badass. I just showed it to you. We just didn't say nothing. We were just like, how?
How did you do it?
How? Just a lifestyle, man. But ScHoolboy Q. Oh yeah, and funniest moment of the ScHoolboy Q concert. So he kind of stopped. He was kind of calm. Everyone's talking to the crowd, and he's like,
"Oh man."
He was like, "Let me tell you." He was like, "Yeah. So since we're in the Bay, and all that, you had to holler at E40, and everyone's like, ah, and your boy Brandon was like, no, he didn't. No, he did. Yeah, to holler at E40. Paused. Yeah, he ain't here. He in LA. He ain't here. He in LA. But we gonna do the song for him though. But he sure as hell ain't here tonight. I think he went into dope dealer. That was some old asshole shit. But
that show was dope.
That show was fire.
Like it was cool too because he went back to a lot of the older songs even before Oxymoron.
Yeah.
He went to Setbacks and Contradiction or Habits and Contradictions.
Mm-hmm.
Did one song from Setbacks.
Yep.
And then pretty much went into the bulk, not the bulk, but went through a good amount of Oxymoron.
John Murph sounded dope live.
It did. It sounded crazy.
Shit.
And then when he brought out Traffic and TF
for Tuki Knows too. Oh
rap.
Yeah.
The whole venue went blue.
But everyone was just waiting for fucking that part.
Yeah.
And the fact that Kanye wasn't there, but he played that verse and it still fucking went off like that.
Oh yeah.
That was crazy. That was crazy. You know, and I think I ranked that as all the TDE because I saw Kendrick. We both saw Kendrick. And
we saw all the TDE last year.
We didn't see how. Oh yeah, we did.
At the major concert.
Was it last year?
Yeah, the BET concert.
When
all TDE.
The haunted house shit. That was last. Damn, that was last year.
Yeah.
Shit. Damn. Yeah, we saw them all. Yeah, but yeah. Oh yeah. And then the funniest moment when the DJ was playing "Fuck Donald Trump."
Oh yeah.
He was going "Fuck Donald Trump" at Jack York. We'll get to that whole ass nigga later. So also last week was kind of a reunion in sorts.
It actually was, man.
Kind of was because we like that whole week. Me particularly was bumping into people that I used to work with at this little publication I used to work at. Well, since we're all here, I used to work at a publication called Go There Magazine. That's based off in the Bay Area. And I got brought in by one of my, I guess you could say, ex-homeboys and all that. And when I got there, I met a lot of people. Met my boy JC.
Yep.
Met Ivana, who's not here today, but she'll be here next week. And, you know, I went to LA. I wrote a few articles. I got my name out there. But then further down the line, I was getting very, very frustrated with everything that was going on. And that's going to be like a story. That's going to be like a story that's to be set for another time and place if you ever ask me, because it would just bring up bad memories. But
if you ever ask him, just be prepared to sit there for at least 3 hours.
Yeah.
There's so many stories.
So many stories I can just go into that would take up a lot of time. But pretty much what happened last week is just like, I guess my past was kind of coming back just to remind me that I made the right decision by leaving. So first we saw Mike. Well, it started at the beginning of the week when me and Ivana were eating, and we saw our boy Most.
Yeah.
Shout out to Chang too, and
Shout out Chang and Most. Man, Chang and Most were the ones that brought me in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but Most, he was a videographer. He was the one that filmed like the weekly wrap ups with me and Ivana, And he's a really, really dope-ass videographer. He has his own... what's he have? His own little vlog.
He's got his, pretty much started his own damn
Pretty
company.
much his own company. Most films, you know, go on YouTube, look for him. He uploads an episode a day. I can't even keep up with it. Like, he's... I'm
like, damn, 145 now or something.
Dude, I don't know how he does it. Like, when me and Ivana were there, I'm surprised he didn't have a camera in his hand. But sure and behold, he took out his phone. He took out his phone and he pretty much filmed me and Ivana eating our boiling crab and shit. So, yeah. But yeah, we saw Most. Shout out to him. He has a lot of love. But the main thing that's been hanging like very heavy on my mind for the past week was what happened after we went to SmackDown when we were heading home and we dropped off Edgar and shit, right? We went to 7-Eleven. We got out the car and I saw one of my old comrades. He knows what his name is. If he's ever listening to this, he knows what it is. And he's the one that brought me in to go there. And pretty much, and I've known him for years, like almost a decade. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we became really good friends. We were good friends and shit. But along our time I go there, our friendship kind of disappeared pretty much. Like it started disintegrating and all that shit. So one day it really hit its boiling point, and a lot of words were exchanged. And I said some shit to him, and he said some shit back to me. And pretty much our friendship was never the same. And he pretty much, I guess you could say, alienated me. So that was like 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago. So when we're dropping him off at 7-Eleven, dropping Edgar off at 7-Eleven, I see him get out of his car. So I'm like, oh shit. So I rolled down the window. I was like, hey, what's up, so-and-so? And he gave a very blank stare. He looked right at me. He gave a blank stare. And then he looked and saw JC in the driving seat. And he walked literally around from the passenger side where I was seated at. And he went and talked to JC. And just completely ignored me. And I'm like, really, bruh? Really? And then when he came out, I just looked at him and said, you still mad about that shit, bruh? And then he was like, you'll never learn, Busby. And I just rolled up the window and was like, whatever. And then at that point, I just said, you know what? I tried to wash my hands of it. I tried to say sorry. I tried everything I can. So, at that point, I just had to walk away from the situation and just let God handle it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So,
what you gotta do, man. I mean, you've been trying too long. Even I say, at some point, it ain't wrong to just say, I've done all I can do and just cut it off. But I'm glad that was actually...
Yeah, that's because
that was the breaking point.
The fucked up thing is because I know his family. Like, I'm really good friends with his family, with a majority of them for the most part. But it was just like, really, bro? Like, you're going to hold on to that for the rest of your damn life? Like, I still got love for him to this day. I'm never going to talk ill will about him, But... at the end of the day, I still got love for him. So if I ever see him, I'm still gonna say what's up to him, even if he acts like a whole ass nigga when he sees me. But
I'm never gonna speak ill will towards him. But if he wants to act like a whole ass nigga to me,
I'm just saying, if he wants to act that way, then so be it. But I'm still gonna give him nothing but love. So whatever. That was just something that really just dawned on me, and then I just kind of realized that it is what it is. So what else happened? Did something else happen with our little reunion? Or can we just move on? Yeah, let's move on. So
maybe we'll get to a point where just one episode is just completely laid out where we just divulge.
It'll probably be an unreleased episode.
Yeah.
It'll probably one of them halfers.
Yeah.
It'll be one of them half special episodes that I'll just have in the stash one day.
Likely.
Because it would probably just really just piss me off. And speaking of getting pissed off, let's go right into sports. Yeah. Both our teams lost.
Yep.
Shit. Well, my Niners, Kaepernick tried to do what he can.
Kaepernick did it for the culture, baby.
He only did one touchdown for the culture.
It don't matter to me. That's all we needed. Everybody doubted him. Everybody said that he couldn't do it. He wasn't going to get in the game. All that jazz. And he caught, I can't lie, he caught Torrey Smith at a beautiful throw. Shifted and jived, and you just took right into the middle and scored.
Yeah, the culture didn't help us win the game, though.
Hey, but they had helped Colin Kaepernick. That's all that mattered to me.
Whatever. Yeah. But Kaepernick couldn't do what he can, and he did what he could, but it just wasn't enough. Our defense is trash. You want to know a stat?
Oh, I know it.
Oh, no. I'm going to read. No.
Yes, I do.
No.
I know it.
No, I'm gonna read this stat.
You can read it, but I already know it.
I'm gonna read this stat. What the fuck is it? Oh no, I wish I could have just brought it up because it pissed me off.
It's the stat that they brought up since y'all played the Rams.
The run defense. Yeah. This is where we ranked. In 2009, we were ranked number 6. In 2010, we were ranked number 6. 2011,
these were as 500 and below.
2011, we were ranked number 1 because of who? Jim Harbaugh. 2012 and 2013, number 4. 2014, 7.
And that was with injuries.
That was with injuries. Now, 2015. We were ranked 29. 2016, we're ranked fucking last.
Yeah.
You know what I want you to say, right?
I'm not gonna say it, but
say it.
Nah.
Say it.
Not yet.
Say it.
In due time, just not now.
Say it. Say it.
You already had enough people saying it for you on Twitter.
No, I want you to say it.
In due time.
Man, fuck you, Jed York. That's all I could say. That's all I could say. And Harbaugh came to the Bay, and
Harbaugh came back to the Bay Area, and it was a low key sneak diss towards both Jed and
the fucking
Trent
GM.
Baalke, and then it was also a sneak diss to the Pac-12.
Whatever,
because he came out here to scout.
To scout my ass.
He wanted his presence known. He let Jed and Trent know, yeah, I'm here.
Anyway, so what about your damn Raiders? What happened?
It was just a bad day at the office. Just a bad day at the office. One of the Murphy's Law situations where anything that could go wrong did go wrong. Started off great, went through a no huddle, got the touchdown the opening drive.
Yeah, I saw that.
And defense did good their opening drive. And then after that, it just kind of went downhill. But,
shit happens.
It happens.
Y'all bounce back. Y'all got Tampa Bay next week or Jacksonville.
Got Jacksonville and
y'all
then
got
we're
that.
in Tampa Bay.
Y'all got that. Y'all, that's going to be 2 weeks.
I mean,
I'm being nice.
Our guys are cool about it. I talked to Derek afterwards. And
yeah.
Cool thing about Derek is he's never too high after a win, and he's never down after a loss. So he's always looking forward to, okay, it's over. How can we get better? How we do this? Just move forward.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty much the team overall, I mean, it was a bad loss. Don't get us wrong. We had an opportunity to take over the number 1 spot in our division and go up 2 games above our divisional.
So you guys are number 2 now, right?
We're still tied. We're actually tied for the first. We could have owned it outright,
okay.
But we obviously didn't get that done.
True.
So we'll have some chances. We leave for Florida. It's a Florida trip altogether. We're gonna go for 10 days once
so you're gonna be gone. So it's gonna be me and Ivana.
Yeah.
For the next 2 weeks. So you're gonna miss
that's
Halloween and shit.
Yeah. Oh
well. And let's see what else. And your Raiders might be leaving for Vegas soon.
Yep. Unless
the owners fucking don't sign off on it, y'all gonna still be here.
Here's the issue with the owners though. The owners low key kind of screwed themselves.
How?
With the situation because they already approved us to leave.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
They already approved us to go to LA if the Chargers decline.
Oh.
So they already approved a move.
Damn. So they're gonna have so they have no choice pretty much.
So going into this, I mean, they could have all their. So I mean, some of them are likely. I don't want to say upset, but they're cautious about the situation just being in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
But they already approved a move. So now you're just gonna look like a hypocrite if you were one of those people that said, yeah, they can go to LA if the Chargers decline, but then all of a sudden say, nah, let's try to keep them in Oakland, because then it's like, well, wait a minute, what?
Shit.
What are you trying to do? Like, you
trying to screw us?
Yeah.
Shit.
If you're asking me just off of,
I ain't asking.
If you're asking me from a position of what do I think is gonna happen, and not from a position of info that I have,
yeah.
I feel like it's something that's gonna
happen.
But they're pushing the the vote back for like
January.
6 to 9 months. No, past January. For like 6 to 9 months. They're talking about not even doing it till June.
Why? Oh wow.
I don't know why, but
that's stupid.
I mean that stadium they proposed, man. I can't front. That's just a.
Hey, all I worry about, I don't care about the Raiders going in there. If they're going to be in Vegas, that means WrestleMania is going to be in Vegas.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
hell yeah. Speaking of wrestling. Oh, no, back to football. The Cowboys got themselves a little quarterback controversy.
They shouldn't.
They really shouldn't.
They shouldn't have a controversy.
I mean, Romo needs to chill his ass on the bench.
If you ask my boys Greg and Jason, they damn sure shouldn't have it.
Nah, they shouldn't. No, Dak Prescott.
Jason already ready to ship Tony Romo out to Denver for next year.
Yeah, Romo's good. Romo would be perfect for Denver. Romo would be perfect for Denver.
But Jason ready to ship him out. He don't want nothing to do with him anymore.
So they have themselves a little Alex Smith Kaepernick controversy kind
situation.
of.
Hey, all I know is Dak's been getting the ball to my boy Bryce.
Honestly, they might do it.
They might, man.
Might.
You see that nice touchdown by Bryce, though, man? The little tippy toe right in the edge.
I didn't watch the game. I just
you didn't see the highlight, though?
Nah.
Oh, man, I saw it. I hit him again. Texted him, said Duffel with another 6 footballs. The funny thing was, he hit me right back, like literally seconds after. Just, yes, sir. It's like, man.
Speaking of fucking duffel, fucking J.R. Smith got himself a nice
J.R.
duffel
Smith
bag.
got $57 million worth of Hennessy, man.
$57 million. LeBron said, "You better pay the man." They paid the man.
So I mean, that settles it. Like, if people were questioning LeBron's role, he is the star. He is
the owner, the GM,
the assistant coach, the general manager, the president. That man is the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, hell yeah.
And then the dope thing about it was JR didn't even waste no time. He got the deal signed. Next thing you know, he's
at the club.
No, he's not in the club. He actually in the facility just jacking up threes.
Exactly.
Going number net, swish. And then he got a t-shirt that I want to get.
Was it of his chest?
Nah, it's pretty dope. It's a JR for president t-shirt, and on the bottom is the United States of Swish.
Burn.
I like that.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Speaking of
shout out to J.R. Smith, man. If there's one person that deserves a damn title on their resume, it's J.R. Smith.
Well, speaking of wrestling, fucking Goldberg came back last night.
Yeah, I saw.
Yeah, looking all flabby and sick. It was like his first. It was his first time back in the WWE ring in 12 years and shit. He looked old as fuck.
I saw his attempt to get that leg
kick.
up.
Oh my god, he was like an old man just shadow boxing with himself. Like,
He
like,
look like one of them old grandpas that was trying to tell you about.
As soon as I saw that, I'm like, Brock, kill this man. Just kill this man. Oh man, that was just crazy. Damn, man, we went to wrestling last week. That was dope. That was really.
I remember when Goldberg was at WCW and they brought dude Gilbert out.
Oh yeah,
they just trying to toy them. So when they brought Goldberg out this time, that's all I heard was Gilbert.
You could hella tell they piped in that chant too. So
yeah,
you would hella tell. Motherfuckers just standing there like, good.
Yeah. Why are you back?
Why are you back? I mean, I didn't even feel nothing. Whatever. Goldberg, Brock Lesnar, Survivor Series. Who gives a fuck? Still gonna watch, but
at least it ain't a UFC match featuring Brock.
Anyway, or CM Punk.
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh, yeah.
Remember when they tried the CM Punk chant at SmackDown and you were like, "No,
shut that shit up." Yep, I sure did say that. No, we gotta talk about what Edgar said. The quote of the night for Edgar.
Oh yeah.
No,
man.
so apparently, I tell the story. So apparently, Jack Swagger and Tyler Breeze had a match and shit, and Jack Swagger beat Tyler Breeze by putting him in the anchor lock and shit.
And Edgar just stands up.
No, he didn't stand up. He was sitting there.
No, he got out of his seat.
Yeah.
And because I'm sitting next to Edgar and he like looks past me and all of a sudden he just points his finger and he's just like, "Hey, that's not your move."
Hey, that's not your move.
And the way you said, I just started busting up laughing. Like
he was dead serious.
Yeah, he was dead serious. Like we were up in the upper levels and he said it with so much conviction. Like they were actually gonna stop the match and he was gonna listen to him. And then rewind what he did and then do a different move. It was so funny.
Hey, that's not your move.
So I started walking around because my family went to Arizona.
No, you did.
So my family went to Arizona because they went to go see my sister for family weekend.
Yeah.
So I'm walking around with I have a little Chihuahua, Louis.
Yeah.
I'm walking around. He kept looking at me, and I'm like, "Hey, that's not your fry." When I got back from Nations, "Hey, that's not your cheesecake."
You ain't shit. I'm gonna tell Edgar that shit. And he said it was so much like anger and shit.
Oh man, it was a perfect soundbite.
Woogie boogie. Hey, get off my yard.
Well, it was so funny because it just came out of nowhere. It wasn't like he was talking about it beforehand. Like, oh yeah, this guy's still so many moves, and he just like stopped. Like, hey, it was just we were all just sitting there watching, and then out of nowhere, it's just hey, that's not your move.
Oh shit, making me cry. It's one of those y'all had to be there. But, whew, hi.
That was hilarious. I've never had a dull moment hanging out with Edgar, man.
Yeah, that's
never.
my boy. That's my
never
boy.
On
the last part of that last week's podcast. Hey, got any last words, Edgar?
I am a god.
Well, okay.
All right. We're gonna go get rid of some demons, and we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, so let's move right along. When it comes to music news, it just came out today that Tupac and Janet Jackson are nominated for a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Hell yeah!
Hell yeah! Can I get
Unfortunately, I think Pac gonna get snubbed.
You think he's gonna get snubbed?
I think Janet's gonna go on for sure.
Because Pearl Jam is nominated and a few other like artists are nominated.
We all know Tupac deserves to be in their first ballot.
Well, of course,
but
the culture knows that. But if Janet gets nominated, if Janet goes in there, shit, I'll be like, I am officially old.
Yeah,
shit.
Yeah.
And when it comes to new music, no, and fucking last week's episode of Atlanta,
greatest show on TV right now.
Bruh, what Donald Glover did last week was genius.
I'm going to say this in case nobody saw my tweets from last week after the show. That episode may have solidified him as being the most important entertainer in our culture right now.
Yes, I believe that.
As a performer, as a writer, as a director, as a producer, he, pound for pound, might be the most important figure in our culture right now.
Exactly. Yeah.
What he's doing with Atlanta, because you and I talked about it, we had a couple concerns where it's kind of like it's on FX, which gives him some leeway, but how much of this is going to be him versus
what the
studio wants to do?
FX lets him get away.
And from the jump, from the first episode, when you hear OJ the Juice Man start the series off, I applauded every single episode. What that man did with those spoof commercials,
that was genius. That was absolutely genius. That was and it flowed into the real commercials too. It was genius. Everything about that was genius. Like, I don't know how no one came up with that before. It's like something that came out with Chappelle would have did.
Yes,
like, it was genius.
The Dodge commercials just had me laughing because it's true. They don't say anything. They just drive around in the city and just head nod everybody. Oh yeah, and then that's Dodge.
Yeah, or the network it was on, BAN. The Black American Network.
But we know what BAN is.
Bitch ass nigga. Oh shit.
That was hilarious. And then how they had I can't get it out of my head. The Montague theme song. I just hum it. I hum it now all throughout the day. The da da na 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 na.
Oh yeah.
Da na 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 na.
Donald Glover, Childish Gambino, you, my man, are a genius,
bruh. And then the Swisher Sweet commercial.
Oh my god! Or the what's it called? The Mickeys or whatever.
Clearly a shot at R. Kelly,
of course. The whole shit, man.
And then they get to the cereal commercial.
Oh, that was,
bruh. I went from laughing to realizing everything wrong with the authority in all the commercials I watched involving cereal growing up. What was it? The Trix commercial where they always arrest the damn rabbit. I'm ready to go to bat for the rabbit now.
I've always been like that.
I'm ready to go.
When I was a kid, I thought that was fucked up. I was like, all he wanted was his damn cereal. Yeah. You whole ass kids don't want to give it to him.
Yeah, they went all out. It was like, so old girl still hasn't seen the show yet because
your girl has not seen the show.
She gets graveyard shifts. And so I sent her the clip of the commercial, and she watches it, and she's like, I did not expect that. She goes, but I'm going to start saying that from now on. This is some bullshit.
Oh, shit. Shout out to Donald Glover. And then another bullshit TV show came on yesterday. Well, not TV, but it was a little made-for-TV movie because Twitter was just set ablaze about it.
Oh, I still haven't watched it. My mom was watching it.
It was called Surviving Compton, and it told the story of... It was Miss Chalet, who was the first lady of Death Row.
You hit me.
Bruh.
You hit me. You said, why didn't you tell me her voice was like that?
Bruh.
And I was like, everybody knew her voice was like that.
I didn't know that. I watched little interviews and clips, but I did not know her voice.
Yeah, that's
because it started out. No, when the show started out, she was like, "Hey, I'm Miss Chalet." And I'm thinking, okay, maybe this is like a sound effect or something. But then it just kept going, and I'm like, that's really her voice? Yeah, so Dr. Dre beat my ass and
that's why people were so amazed with her when she came out with Ruthless, because she just had a squeaky Minnie Mouse voice, and then all of a sudden she sings, and she has all this power like a Tony Braxton. Like, it just came out of nowhere.
Like, what? That don't make no sense. And now she's like, and then she pretty much, I didn't watch the whole movie because I could not take her voice. I honestly could not take her voice serious, but apparently they made Dr. Dre out to be Ike Turner pretty much.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Pretty much he was just beating her ass. And they got and you were right, they did get the guy who played Suge Knight and Straight Outta Compton to play Suge Knight.
Yeah.
Like he was, and pretty much he was Miss Chalet's like I guess, simp, like Captain Save-A-Ho or whatever. They made him out to be a good guy. They made Tupac out to be a chump. Daz Dillinger.
I saw Daz got pissed off.
He was just like, he's like, oh, Suge never punked Pac. What the fuck? You know, and it was just, it was like, I just couldn't watch it. I could not watch it all. It was like an hour. I have it on DVR. I might watch it, but I can't take that voice. I honestly can't take that voice. I can't. How can anyone take that voice?
How can anybody take that voice? Well, apparently Dre and Suge did, and it broke up Death Row.
Yeah, so she's the reason why Death Row, in her eyes, she's the reason?
No, she's not the reason. But obviously you have a rift where you have co-founders sharing the same baby mama. So you get that, and then you get on top of that the fact that Suge, when he became public, just made it known that this is a gang-banging label. And Dre's one of those people where he's like, I don't care what you're doing in the streets. Like, don't come to the studio with that because I need to work. So what happened was, from Pac's tenure up until Dre left, Dre was probably in there twice. So that had to do with it. I mean, she played a role, but they didn't. Death Row didn't break up because of Miss Chalet.
Yeah, and and now she's fucking taking hella, like, I see this more as a publicity stunt. This is like a straight up publicity stunt because all she's doing all these interviews. She posts a picture of her going to the Oprah Network studios and just doing all a bunch of shit. I'm like, oh, so you really trying to tear down Dr. Dre, calling him a woman beater and shit. I mean, whatever.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I believe he did it. I feel like they painted in Straight Outta Compton. They painted too good of a picture of him.
Yeah,
like they didn't dive into the fact that him and Easy did beef. Mm-hmm. There was a full-fledged label war.
Yeah, they hella just ignored that whole fuck with Dre Day and
like I was very shocked when Easy drove, when they had him driving down the street and he just sees
the Chronic
and he smiles and gets a tear
and cries. Like, what?
Like, wait, what? Like,
that never happened.
He dropped real motherfucking G's after that.
And there was fuck with Dre Day. Like, what? Whatever.
Like the whole label beef, like on Doggy Style when they had the skit.
Yeah, like
they were attacking them.
Like, come on, bruh.
On dog food. Corrupt says ain't got no love for no hoes in harmony.
Or the pyramid, like
this
ghetto
was a
pyramid.
This was a full-fledged Ruthless versus Death Row beef.
Yeah.
With Dre and Easy serving as the generals. Like, I was completely, that was my one gripe aside from them showing Pac in 1993 doing
Hail Mary with Dre and I'm like, that didn't, in 93, but didn't he... Whatever. Yeah. So
those were my main two gripes, where they showed Pac way too damn early.
Way early.
And then they didn't showcase the Ruthless versus Death Row beef. Yeah. Even if it was for 10 minutes. It could have sufficed. You could have went back and forth, could have done a whole scene with just disc records back and forth, showing them how they were doing their movements, leading up to them finding out Easy had AIDS and HIV.
Yeah.
Because, and then that was another thing. They never had no damn conversation talking about let's get back together. It was Easy and Cube who saw each other in New York, and they were talking about just the preliminary steps. And Cube says that was the last time he saw Easy because he didn't go to the funeral because he wanted to make sure the last image he had of Easy was of him walking away in New York. Yeah. He didn't want to see him in the casket. But him and Dre never had no conversation. Dre didn't find out about it until he was getting out of jail because he did a little 4-month bid at the time. Mm-hmm. And then he goes to the hospital and Easy was already in the coma by then. So that's Hollywood for you.
That's straight from the source himself. JC, no hundreds.
I do believe that Dre was physical with her, but
you want to take advice from somebody who slapped D Barnes?
I mean, there you go. That tells me that. I also, it seems too convenient.
Yeah, way convenient. Like, of course she would want to fucking... If anything, I can understand if you wrote a book about it, but this bitch went and made a fucking movie on Lifetime. It was all in the movie, all in the video, and just whatever.
I mean...
Whatever.
Nobody was really asking about Miss Chalet.
I didn't really care. No one really cared. Well, whatever. So, speaking of Dre, we go to this Proteges, because they released some new music this week. Who can start? We want to start with Game or fucking Anderson .Paak?
Do Game.
All right, Game finally released his, I guess, what album is this for him? It don't matter. He really dropped it on 7, 8. His album 1992, where there was absolutely no other rap features on there. He pretty much
first time.
I mean, he has some singers and all that, but he is rapping the entire way, and tight.
It was cool.
It was cool. Like, it had a strong beginning, and then it just started going blah towards the end.
It was exactly what I expected it to be.
Same here.
In 1992, I knew he was going to go back and sample the
whole
late
bunch
80s
of
and
early 90s beats, you know? I mean, it was cool for what it was. You know, there's really nothing much to say. Like, now I can understand why he wanted to do that beef with Meek and shit. It's just
right.
But it kind of did help because he did sell, like, he's projected to sell 21,000 in his first week, so that's good for him. And then the other album that came out that had social media just going crazy.
I'm mad at social media.
Was NXWorries with Anderson .Paak and Knowledge. And it was an R&B album, R&B hip hop, and I'm going on Twitter and everyone's saying, "Oh my God, this is an amazing album. This is album of the year quality." And da 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 da. So I didn't listen to it until like today. Like I really just got down to just listening to it because I was like, we all have to talk about it. And I listened to it and it was, nah. I mean, it was cool. It had its moments, but like social media, man. I don't know why I listen to you motherfuckers sometimes. Like it was cool. It wasn't great. It was just cool. That's pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, I listened to it.
I told you.
You didn't hype it up to me, but you said social media had hyped it up.
Yeah,
and they were saying it was better than Malibu. So now my expectations were okay. It's better than Malibu. And halfway through, I was like, this is like the sampler before you get to Malibu, or like the quick meal you get after Malibu. Like it was good. It had some good tracks, but it just
wasn't really all that.
It
wasn't really all that. So I mean, it was cool, but for what it was, I've heard other. I think Jameson has a better R&B album than that, but I digress. So let's get to the meat of this episode. Eminem, Marshall Bruce Matters III, Slim Shady. He turned 44 this past Monday. Yeah. He is one of the greatest rappers of all time, whether people like it or not. And, I pretty much was thinking, let's dive back and just reflect on his albums from pretty much all the way to the first one, all the way to, like, the last one that came out. So, the first album, his first independent album was Infinite. So, what were your thoughts on that album when you first heard it? I mean, it was back in the 90s, but when you...
Believe it or not, I didn't listen to Infinite until 3 years ago.
Oh, okay. That was kind of me. More mine was like 4 years ago. Because I remember all the M fans were always saying, like, yo, if you want to talk about his best album was Infinite, because that's how when he was rapping. And I was like, oh, okay. And I went back and listened to it, and M always went on record by saying that when he looks back, he was like, he was rapping too much like Nas and AZ. Mm-hmm. And when you listen to it, he sure in the fuck was.
Yeah.
Like, throughout
I mean, you could tell the star potential.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely tell he had great lyricism, had great delivery.
Oh yeah,
flow was ridiculously good. It was just he wasn't himself. He was trying to emulate
Nas and AZ.
Right. So, I mean, it's a very great introduction.
Oh, very great. But it was almost like
it's an underground hit.
It was a process
from what I understand. It was a very good underground hit.
Very good. Well, it didn't really sell that much, but it got his name out there. You know what I mean? He didn't get his name out enough, but he had to find his voice. He wasn't Slim Shady yet, so the change the action. So yeah, that was Infinite. So then after that, shit didn't sell that well. He was going to rock bottom,
And then out of fluke, he ends up at the Rap Olympics.
Rap Olympics, out of nowhere, he recorded a Slim Shady EP. Mm-hmm. That's when he pretty much found out who he was.
Yeah.
At the Rap Olympics, he lost the Rap Olympics, and there was a certain A&R there that he did not know who it was. He just went, you know what? He's like, yo, let me get your tape. He was like, sure, here. He just gave it to him. That A&R worked at Interscope. Yep. He went to Jimmy Iovine. Jimmy Iovine listened to it. He's like, yo, I'm going to play this for Dre. Him and Dre had a meeting. He's like, yo, there's this dude in Detroit. Played it. Dre said, let me get that. Called up M. And then all of a sudden, long story short, we got the Slim Shady LP. Boom. It was the debut. It was the debut album of Eminem. Yeah, it came out in what, 99? 1999. And the first video, we all saw was My Name Is. And I'll never forget, when I first saw the My Name Is video, I was getting dressed. Getting ready for school. I think in the 4th grade or whatever. And MTV used to have them Buzzworthy. You remember that shit?
Yeah.
MTV Buzzworthy. And the shit just popped up. And then I saw the video from My Name Is. And I was like, who's this? And I see the white boy. He had like blonde hair. He was doing all this, doing all that crazy shit. And I'm watching it. And I was just like, okay, this is pretty unique. And then all of a sudden I see, and when Dr. Dre said, and I saw Dr. Dre popped up, I'm like,
Yeah.
Holy
like,
shit.
Wait, Dr. Dre
Dr.
proves
Dre?
this?
Like, he proved this white boy? Okay, I gotta pay attention to him right now. Like, I really gotta pay attention to him.
This was a really big deal in my circle. I was only 10 at the time.
Yeah.
And so I had older cousins and older friends who obviously introduced me to, you know, very, very hardcore hip-hop and got me in all that. So to them, this was a big deal where you had somebody that looked like Vanilla Ice,
but rap like a black motherfucker.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like this is kind of a big deal, and everybody was wondering if it was. I remember when he first came out, everybody wondered if it was a ghostwriting situation. Again.
Yeah,
there was a big for the younger generation, and you know, and this is not to call them out being Drake fans. We're not getting into that. In today's day and age, nobody really cares. You know what I'm saying?
Sadly.
You can do that, and to a certain degree, I understand and I get it. Back then, when Eminem came out, this was a very big deal. Before blog sites, before podcasts, whenever anybody had a chance to bring up Eminem, it was always he's good, but is he authentic?
Yeah. And I think the one track that made me kind of really pay attention to him was Role Model. Yeah. When I first heard Role Model, I'm like, this dude rapping. Yeah. On edge.
Because My Name Is was
very quirky.
Was very quirky, and it was like kind of a gimmick, and it was kind of used to what you were used to expecting, not necessarily from a white rapper, but just kind of a rapper where you're like, he's okay. He'll maybe get one more album, and then he'll fade out. Yeah, that's pretty much. That was My Name Is, and then you get to Guilty Conscience. And you're like, God. Wait, what?
Yeah, Guilty Conscience. That was still one of my favorite ones.
Yeah.
Like, I remember, I thought the first thing I think that was perfect for a video. Straight up perfect for it. And how, like, you pretty much, how you had the angel and demon in your head talking to you and shit like that. Well, it goes through like it's supposed to. The whole neighborhood knows you and they expose you. Think about before you talk in the door first. Like, come on. Like, that whole Guilty Conscience was a very, very creative record and shit like that. And also, one other people you talk about authentic, people tend to forget that he was a regular on Sway and Tech. Yeah. On the Wake Up Show. Yeah. He was a regular. He had freestyles for days. Like a
lot of them. Some of them I'm just now
remembering.
Not even remembering, but actually going back and learning about for the first time.
Yeah. Like at the beginning of the podcast, that was on one of his verses that he used to spit on there all the damn time. He was spitting. And that's what really attracted me to Eminem, was because of just how unique he was. Like, he was a white boy, and he could just rap his damn ass. I don't give a damn about your race. He could rap his fucking ass off. Yeah. And I think the one verse that made me a believer was his Forgot About Dre verse. Yes. That was the verse that made me a believer of him. And how he just, he wrote the whole damn song.
Yeah, because I mean, at that point, you want to talk about ghostwriters, well, he ended up becoming... Yeah. He served as Dre's ghostwriter with Mailman and Hitman.
Exactly. And he wrote that whole damn song, and it was just, that made me a believer. It was before Marshall Mathers happened, that was his biggest hit, Forgot About Dre. And I was like, okay, I believe in this. I was like, okay, I kind of like this white boy now. So then, after the Up in Smoke tour and all that shit, no, not the Up in Smoke tour, he was about to do it. That's when he recorded his classic, his coup de grace, the Marshall Mathers LP. Man. That was his highest selling album and his most controversial album. Man. And to this day, I still cannot believe how controversial that album was. Like,
just listening to it compared to what comes out now? You're like, really?
Really? You got mad because he kept saying faggot a lot? Like, really? I mean, the part about raping his mom and killing his girlfriend and shit like that. I mean, that's understandable. But that album, like, I remember just looking on the news and they were constantly talking about him. Like, what did he do? He killed somebody? No, he just called some gay people faggots. That's it?
I mean, I get it. It's wrong.
But it was just like, but in hip hop, we've been saying, black folks been saying that for years. So it's like, what makes Eminem any different? And I really think about it, he's a white boy acting like a black dude. Yeah. That's what it is. And white America couldn't stand that.
They hated that at first. Oh my god.
They hated that.
And then when Kim came out,
oh man,
they had all the ammunition in the world.
What was your reaction when you first heard Kim for the very first time? Like your step-by-step reaction?
I thought I saw one of the films from the Halloween series.
Oh my god, I'll never forget that. I remember I was on the school bus heading back from summer camp or whatever, and one of my boys let me borrow the album, and I heard about Kim. I never heard the song, so I'm listening to it. And he was like, "Aw," like, let's just go to it. Let me just listen to this shit right now, so y'all can just hear it.
It's so eerie, but it's so melodic.
Especially how it starts.
Yeah.
It just, you know, you just hear this. Daddy's little girl. Like, you just hear that. Sleepy head. It's the day I changed your diaper, wiped you and powdered you. How'd you get so big? And you just hear it, and all of a sudden, all you hear is, sit down, bitch, you move again, I'm beating the shit out of you.
Yeah, like, oh my God.
Like, what the fuck? I was like, what the fuck? And then you kind of realize throughout when he was screaming, he was still rapping.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, this isn't hip hop. This isn't rap. They improved this? Like, what the hell?
This is a 911 call.
And then the last thing you heard was, now Blade, bitch, Blade! And who would have thought that years later he would win an Oscar?
Oh, man. Golly.
We'll get to that later.
Golly,
because
man.
every time I think about him winning that Oscar, I'll be saying, like, he wrote Kim.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But besides Kim, what was your favorite track from that album, from the Marshall Mathers LP?
What was that?
What was your favorite track from the Marshall Mathers LP?
My gosh, man. To this day, my favorite track is still Bitch Please 2.
Of course, that sounds like a chronic, that was like a 2001 throwaway, kind of.
Kind of. They all flowed so perfectly together.
Yeah.
It was cool. Like, Exhibit's verse on that is probably one of his best verses out of his career.
Oh, yeah. My favorite one is the title track, Marshall Mathers. That's one of my favorite because that's when he kind of finally realizes his fame and how he's getting fed up of it and shit like that. Marshall Mathers and Criminal.
Because I'm a criminal.
Yeah, that.
Criminal.
And that's the thing that really shocked me when I finally listened to the album. And the last line he said on that album, and it just blew my mind. And that's when I finally got it. He said, half the shit I say, I just make it up to make you mad, to kiss my white naked ass.
He was one of the first trolls ever.
Like, he straight up told you, I'm just saying this shit to piss you off.
And people went and got pissed off.
Like, he just said that. Like, what? And then, you know.
Two of my most coveted tracks from that album.
Okay.
The Way I Am.
Oh, of course. See, when
the video matched everything he was talking about in that song so well. It was just him when you realize he's just flying off this building.
He's falling, pretty much.
Like, he's just... when Kendrick's talking about levitate, he's just
let it run.
Flatlining, falling, anything that you can... Any synonym that you can get with that. That's what he's doing. And then you listen at... Okay, how can you do this? You're working with Dre. You have... And then
the opening lines, though, just... I sit back with this pack of zigzags and this bag of this weed. It gives me this shit needed to be the most meanest MC on this earth. Since its birth, I've been cursed with this curse. It's just curse. It's this curse.
Like, come on, man.
Come on. Like,
the wordplay.
The wordplay. And then you could just hear the anger in his voice. See, when I get pissed off and I feel like I'm just not feeling it, I just turn on The Way I Am. Because it's like, and even an Eminem hater, you hear this song, you feel that shit with your soul. You feel it in your soul. Yeah. Like the Way I Am. That's one of his it's his signature songs. And of course, you had the Real Slim Shady. I remember when that video came out. They played the fuck out of that shit. They did on MTV. It was on #1 on TRL.
They did.
Honestly, MTV helped his career. TRL, MTV, he was the right rapper, had the right skills.
Because you gotta remember, because at the time it was nothing but the boy bands, the girl groups, and the girl solos, and the pops, and he just came out and just attacked everybody,
and including them.
And he attacked them, and then didn't stop there. He even went into hip hop and found the similar pop acts. Like, he attacked Will Smith.
No, I'll never forget that. That was like the most random diss. Just out of nowhere. Will Smith got a cuss in his rap to set records. Right, I do. So fuck him and fuck you too. Well, what?
And then that low-key broke my heart because I blasted Big Will
and Men in Black
style. And, you know what I'm saying?
Like, why did you diss Will Smith?
Like, why would you say that? He's the Fresh Prince.
Well, you understood why.
Of course, later on when you were learning about this, yeah. But when you're a little kid at the time, you're like, why are you attacking one of my heroes? Like,
you feel me? Man, and it had nothing to do with the song. He just said it and then it went to the next subject.
But it just goes back to what he was saying. I just say stuff that I think of right on the spot just to piss you off.
Piss you guys off.
But the most iconic song still from that album is Stan.
I mean, the shit that that song or the word "stan" made up. It just became a word of its own. Now we don't even call them fans no more. We call them stans.
Yeah.
You know, I am an Eminem stan. There's Drake stans. There's Beyonce stans. Hove stans everywhere. And it became a life of its own. Yeah. Pretty much. It literally became a life of its own. And it's a really crazy song when you just like how he came up with it, pretty much, and the whole concept of it about a demented fan writing him crazy ass letters and shit. And then the last verse when M's rapping as himself, and then he kind of finally realizes like, damn, I'm writing to the dude that just fucking killed him and his girlfriend and his pregnant girlfriend. Damn. And then it was like the track list, and the next song is Who Knew. Yep. That was genius. That's also one of my underrated favorite songs. I was just like, I never knew I can go on and on, but the Marshall Mathers, when people say that M doesn't have classics, the Marshall Mathers LP is just, it's simple. It's a hip hop classic, whether you like it or not. It was certified its time in hip hop. Everyone will remember the Marshall Mathers LP. So at that point, M had the controversy. He had the highest selling album at that point.
That album was.
Boy, just how the controversy sold.
I mean, you just look back at it and you just. From the composition of it to there was some hype around it.
Oh, of course.
Because some of
the media.
Yeah, because they got word, obviously, with the listening parties and then the reviews and the critics. And then he had because you got to remember, there was no social media back then. There was no leaks. Mm-hmm. There was no Napster at the time. Napster wasn't for another year and a half. Mm-hmm. So all you had was just hearsay. And for the hearsay going into it was, this is not to be taken lightly. Like, this is not for the weak-hearted. Mm-hmm. Go into this with caution. And again, you listen to it, and it sounds the way a horror movie looks.
Pretty much.
Like, it is what it is.
It is what it is. And that's what I loved about that damn album. I mean, to me, it wasn't really that bad. The album was like, I've heard worse, but it was just like, y'all got mad about this? It was just like, he said it quite clearly. So, at that point, he performed with Elton John, got a few Grammys, got a few Source Awards, all them awards and shit, and he established himself as Eminem. But of course he had, his personal issues with his wife, beating up a bouncer and shit like that. And that led to his third album.
There's something we also forgot to touch on too.
What?
The Slim Shady LPs also brought on two wonderful characters throughout his career.
Ken Kniff and who else?
Paul.
Oh, Paul Rosenberg. Yes. His manager, Paul Rosenberg.
Because they added such good
balance,
comedy relief. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it just would have been just so gruesome and violent throughout. Yeah, and every time you hear Paul, as the albums go on, that's one thing about Paul that just it makes you laugh even more.
At first,
his
Slim
patience
Shady
just goes down so much.
Because for Slim Shady, he's just like, yeah, you got to calm it down, bruh. And then he's like, and then Marshall Mathers.
By the time you get to Marshall Mathers LP 2, like, it's just
fuck it. No. He doesn't. No, with Relapse, he's just like, I'm fucking done. He just said, I'm fucking done. So then, after all that, had controversies, wife situation. Then I got to his, I guess, the album that really just certified him as...
This is my favorite Eminem album.
The best one ever is The Eminem Show.
This is my favorite Eminem album.
That was the first Eminem album I ever bought, his solo Eminem.
It's his most complete. Well-complete and balanced
because he produced the entire album by himself.
And that was important, too, this was where he stepped in, not just as Eminem and Slim Shady, the rapper, but as also the producer. M, the producer. He's stepping into the executive producer role, so he has a lot of control over this. Which at the time, everybody thought he was going to flop with that.
Yeah, because the album leaked. The album leaked
and everybody was confused
early.
The album was confused. Everybody was confused, like, well, why is he trying to be a producer? He already has Dre. Oh, he thinks he could do the executive stuff. Well, D12 really wasn't that good to begin with. Yada, yada, yada. Mm-hmm. So this was also groundbreaking for his career in terms of behind the scenes and behind the boards.
And it was his most lyrical shit, too.
Oh, man.
Like, Soldier's my favorite one. Soldier is my shit.
Yes.
Like, I can still spit the... Like,
honestly, if he had signed 50 a year earlier, 50 would have been on that track.
Yeah, I can see that.
50 would have been on that track.
But that track was more suitable for M. Soldier's
definitely was, but it could have been one of those ones where Jaw says the wrong thing and all of a sudden Soldier turns into something else.
Yeah. He's with my collarbones. Like, he was rapping his ass off. Like, I just want to get to the second verse. Fucking best be off. I'm a lit fuse. Anything I do, bitch, it's news. I can't get into it. I'm gonna black out. I'm just gonna black out. That's what I do every damn time I hear that song. I just start blacking out. And he had a lot of highlight records on that.
There were from when he starts off with White America.
That just pretty much putting the mirror at White America and shit. And then you go into business
was
the
great
shit, and then cleaning out my closet.
Can I get a hell yeah?
Hell yeah! Can I get a hell yeah?
He might as well have had Stone Cold Steve Austin on there.
And then you had cleaning out my closet.
Man, cleaning out my closet was
his mama.
Cleaning out my closet was
okay.
It was a double entendre in the sense of. We'll obviously get to it after this. In the sense of it was obviously a highlight of this, but then it also set the tone in the trailers for 8 Mile.
Oh yeah, like the teaser trailer. Of course.
That was. I remember I went to go see. Forgot what movie I went to go see with my family. It's a PG-13 movie.
Okay.
And all of a sudden the trailer showed up in this one, and then they played that song,
like the little. Snippet.
And I was so dumbfounded at how it just matched perfectly with the teaser trailer.
It was just a hook, though. It was just a hook.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was Clean Out My Closet when he really just dissed his mom. And also there was Say Goodbye to Hollywood, Drips when we got introduced to Obi Trice. Right. But Obi Trice had the best... He had the best promo on Without Me. It would open up the damn track.
Obi Trice,
real names, no gimmicks. It go right into the single. It was like, if anyone that says Eminem did not care about his artists on Shady Records, he cared about his artists. He gave Obi Trice so much promo with that.
When Obi Trice, this is one of the greatest lines I've ever heard from a rapper's artist. When he said "pussy tighter than us, than our conditions that us black folks live in."
Yeah.
I remember being when this came out in 2002. I remember being in 7th grade, like spazzing out.
Yeah, he said that.
That was like one of the first times, like, you know how when we usually listen to music and we hear something dope, you throw the headphones or you like walk away, slam the table. That was one of the first times I did that, where I heard something just so dope, slammed the table, threw the headphones off. I was like, I don't want to listen to this no more. Like, I can't comprehend. But what did he just say? Like,
but you weren't even halfway done with the album.
Exactly.
Because after that, you go into fucking what is it? Sing from the Moment with the Aerosmith,
which revived Aerosmith's career.
It did. Well,
it did. They were on a hiatus at the time.
Oh yeah.
And then when the song came out, all of a sudden he brings them out and he does the performance with them. Next thing you know, they're back on tour.
He never performed "Sing from the Moment" with Aerosmith. He never did.
Or that was the Elton John song. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know, but I know you're getting hyped up. But I would have known that because I am a stan, and I wanted him to perform that song with them so bad. But I read somewhere about what happened. Like I read it in some book. Now this is what allegedly happened in the book. But apparently, M wanted to get the sample clearances for it, so he had to ask Steven Tyler and all that. And Kid Rock was all going like, he's like, yo, you should eat. Like Steven Tyler wanted to like re-record the vocals, and M was just like, I don't know. And then Kid Rock was like, nah, let him perform it, dog. Let him do it. And was like, all right. So then Steven Tyler went in there and redid the vocals, and it just didn't sound right. So M just ended up using the sample. And the sample
pissed Steven Tyler out.
He had to talk him down, but like. That record. I mean, if you listen to the sample, have you heard Steven Tyler perform "Dream On" regularly?
Yeah,
it doesn't sound like the original one. No. Like, yeah, M picked the right one because "Dream On" is a classic, and M just added to it. And he was saying some real shit throughout that whole song, especially that third verse. That third verse got me into a lot of shit. So, like, "Sing for the Moment," and then when you just keep going through the whole album, you go into to this day. I do not understand why M did not release this as a single.
Superman.
No, Till I Collapse. He did. He released Superman as a single.
That's right.
I was like,
it was a low key single.
Yeah, because they didn't like the video. It came out right till
it came out during. It came out right when 8 Mile soundtrack dropped.
Yeah, it was on the video. The video was on the DVD. Yeah. I didn't hate the song, but it was like, bro, what are you doing? You must have popped a whole lot of pills to say, you know what? I'm gonna release Superman instead of Till I Collapse.
But you know the funny thing is Till I Collapse is a locker room classic. Every sporting team.
Oh yeah. Before Lose Yourself.
Mandatory. That song's mandatory to play in a locker room.
Before
like
Lose Yourself.
Our guys have a select songs that they play when they when they prep and they go through the stretches and everything. Yeah. But when it comes time for game time, they have a select few songs that they want to hear, and Till I Collapse is one of them.
Till I Collapse was before Lose Yourself, it was Till I Collapse. Like that shit knocks all the way through. And pretty much if you just go through the whole album is a classic. When people try to tell me Eminem has no classics, you can go through Slim Shady to the Eminem Show. Those 3 albums, classics.
I mean, those 3 albums solidified his
legacy.
Exactly.
Alone. You know, and then at
Haley's
that point,
song was very powerful.
Oh yeah,
because you're used to hearing him be so violent,
mm-hmm.
and you hear that, and you're like, okay, there's more to
it.
There's a reason why he's so damn angry.
Shit,
and it's because he can't be.
He can't.
They're not letting him be the man that he wants to be for his daughter.
Yep. Like that. Like yeah.
Like Sing for the Moment. Still, his second verse in that is.
His third verse.
Second verse in that for me is one of his best verses, especially the way he ends it.
Mm-hmm.
Full of shit too, Guerrero. That was a fist that hit you.
Sounds so petty. Like, why'd you? That was the dude he beat up, the bodyguard he beat up and shit.
But all the kids be listening to me religiously, so I'm signing CDs while police fingerprint me. It's for the judge's daughter, but his grudge is against me. I'm such a fucking menace. This shit doesn't make sense, B.
It's all political.
My music is literal, and I'm a criminal. How the fuck could I raise a little girl? I couldn't. I wouldn't be fit to.
And you full of shit too, Guerrero.
That was a fist that hit you.
That was his fuck Jed York. That was his yeah. By the way, fuck Jed York. And then at that point, like the album came out, it went quadruple platinum. It went because the leaks helped it.
Yeah,
it literally helped it because it went super quadruple platinum. He went on tour.
You know what was cool too about this? I'm sorry. What was cool too is that Sing for the Moment officially introduced us to Durag M.
Oh yeah, well the video did, yeah.
Durag M.
Do we have to talk about Durag
Yes, because
M?
Durag M.
That goes into Encore, so we can get to that.
So Durag M from 2002 up until Encore was the shit.
You mean Gangsta M?
He was the.
But we're gonna get to the Shady because at that point he had the #1 album. 8 Mile came out. He had the #1
He had 4 #1s at one time.
He had the #1 album, #1 soundtrack,
#1 song, and the #1 film.
And then he had the hottest mixtapes out with the Shady Aftermath shit. And then on top of that, he just signed 50 Cent. Yeah. Sorry, Ivana, we have to talk about.
Let's get into that.
Shady Aftermath.
Let's discuss that.
I'm gonna say it first. Shady Aftermath was running shit. Y'all want to talk about the dynasty with Rockefeller? They don't have shit on Shady Aftermath. You want to talk about Young Money and OVO and all this shit? They don't have shit compared to what Shady Aftermath did from 2002 to 2005.
And let's get into that because now 8 Mile really established himself as executive producer.
Mm-hmm.
And so he has D12, which was, people look at it as, it was just a handout. But to me, that was loyalty at heart. Like, those were his boys. Those were not just some dudes where he's like, I'm just going to give y'all a chance and we'll see what happens. They made a pact with each other. I will forever respect Eminem for holding on to that pact. And whoever makes it first, just everybody. Just hold your hand out. You don't have to get us to the same level. Just try to bring us along. Mm-hmm. Not only did he bring them along, he gave them their own division in the locker room.
He gave them their own label.
Yeah, so he had his. I don't want to call them an entourage in a disrespectful way.
They all rap,
but yeah, because they're all dope.
Especially Proof.
Yes,
Proof was this Ross one,
and so he has that. Then he brings in the protege, Obi
Trice. Yes,
so it's a no name.
Mm-hmm.
And so now you're seeing, now he's turning into what Dre did for him, which was now he's in a role where, Obi, this is the game. This is the format. I don't want you to conform. Yes, we got to play for the radio, but you know what? Get the radio songs ready and then make your album how you want to make it.
And then
there's buzz going around about, and this is when this was like for hip hop heads only at the time. This was before Wanksta dropped.
Yep.
Because I knew who 50 was.
Yeah, I knew of him too. Yeah.
Just based off of when Jay performed at Summer Jam. And talking about the 50 Cent.
I'm about $1. What the fuck's a 50
So
Cent?
I knew going in who 50 was. I just didn't know.
Eminem knew who he was.
I didn't know about what he was doing to get his buzz back. I didn't know at the time he was blackballed.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know much about, except that he just had a problem with Ja Rule.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know much.
Mm-hmm.
Then when he signs him, you go back and look. Well, 50 gets blackballed, so then he goes pretty much is like, well, screw it. I'm going to make a whole bunch of mixtapes, and then I'm going to go tour in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
And 50's killing it, making 500,000 in Europe, to the point where the labels have no choice
but to
go. And I forgot which label it was. He was on the verge of signing somewhere else.
I want to say
because
it wasn't Columbia. Columbia dropped him.
Columbia dropped him. I don't think it was Capitol.
I think probably Atlantic, maybe.
It might have been Atlantic. He was on the verge with signing with them until Paul got the mixtape, and Paul took it. The 50 Cent is the truth. Mm-hmm. Or it was 50 Cent is the truth. Mm-hmm. He gets the tape and then he takes it to M.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
M within one. I don't even think M said he finished the mixtape.
He just said.
I just think once he got it, he was just like, I need to call him, find him right now. And then he goes and he talks with Dre.
And we all know the history after that. Give it to Die Trying, and the rest is history.
So now what he does is he has a label where he starts, where he has his boys. Mm-hmm. He has a young protege, and he brings in a franchise player.
The dream team.
And with the franchise player comes his entourage. And Lloyd Banks, Tony Yayo, and Young Buck.
And then on top of that, you had Dr. Dre.
And you have Dr. Dre, who brings in Busta, Eve, and an unknown rapper at the time known as Game.
Bruh. And you know what else happened? Every single person sold.
Yes.
Every single person on Shady Aftermath G Unit sold. They went number 1, platinum, gold at the least. Gold at the least, bruh. That's they were selling. It's crazy when you think about what they were doing from that time period. Nobody had a run like that. To this day, they try to downplay it, but nobody had a run like Shady Aftermath.
I mean, just think of this for a second. There was no waiting period. There was no developmental. It was everything that M touched at that point
went gold.
At least gold.
Or platinum.
Yeah, it was you at very minimum. You have M's stamp of approval. And then you have Dre with his star power funding all of this.
And 50 Cent.
And then 50 star power. Bro, I've never seen a situation where a man drops an album. The album leaks. They have to push the date up 4 days earlier. He sells 800,000. And then the next week sells another 800,000. There was no drop off.
It just kept building.
What are we talking about?
And then on 50's sophomore album, The Massacre, he sold 1 million copies.
In the first week.
It's, when you think about that time period, no one ever, you see all these rappers that do all this shit now, nothing will compare to that. Nothing.
I mean, nowadays, you get 6 acts from the label dropping projects, and 2 of them actually drop authentic albums. The other 4 are just dropping mixtapes. Mm-hmm. Shady Aftermath
was dropping albums.
They were dropping 6 albums a year
and a mixtape,
doing minimum gold.
Green Lantern mixed, man. Don't forget about the Green Lantern mixtape.
Like if these dudes came out when Dat Piff was out, they would have shut Dat Piff down. If Dat Piff started when Fab was breaking from his mixtape side to starting with Desert Storm, DJ Clue, because there's a lot of people that I feel like they could just take them for granted nowadays, because back then they were killing stuff.
They were until Apple Music and Tidal came.
So if you put Dat Piff in that era from 2001 to 2005, we may have a whole different history,
bruh.
Because it's only then where you realize and then you appreciate exactly what it was that Eminem was able to do. Because again, like I said, when Eminem's show dropped, we were questioning him as an exec. We questioned him as a producer. We were questioning him as a guy that can take on proteges and what could happen. And by the time you get through 2003, you're like,
no one.
A&Rs are sending their artists to Eminem. Go get a beat from M.
Go get a beat.
Go work with Obi. Make sure 50 is on your album.
Make sure Lloyd Banks is spitting. Make sure Tony Yayo's doing the ad libs. Get that dude from D12 on there.
Man,
those were the times, man. That was a great time to be an Eminem fan.
Man.
That was
you want to talk about radio play? Man.
50 was played everywhere.
I remember one countdown.
Lose Yourself was getting played everywhere.
One countdown. They made the top because KMO. I forgot if it was KMO or 94.9. I forgot if they had a top 10 or a top 7. And I remember one show they just dedicated the top to Shady Aftermath.
See, this is a history lesson, you motherfuckers.
Yeah,
this is the illogical history that y'all need to realize.
Exactly.
That Eminem was the king of rap. Period. At one time, he was the king of rap.
And this is at a time where Jay is dropping The Blueprint, where Nas comes back with Stillmatic.
Nelly was the only person that was selling was,
Nelly comes out. Outkast is at their height.
Kanye's about to come out.
Kanye is getting known as a producer. Ludacris is
Just Luda.
making a name for himself. Like, there's some marquee names out at this time,
but M
that could have very well held their own as the rapper in the game.
So don't let these revised history try to fool you.
And the cool thing of it was they didn't, like, you had the Benzino and a few others who were tripped off it. They didn't care.
They didn't care. They were worried about themselves.
They got him on albums.
Exactly.
Like, M was on Blueprint.
The only rapper on Blueprint.
Nas went and got beats from M.
I never liked the cross beat. I know what you mean, but yeah.
But they didn't have an issue with it.
And not only that, Eminem produced for Tupac. I mean, come on.
Produced for Biggie.
Did for Biggie. I mean, M was like
everywhere.
From the Eminem show, / 8 Mile era.
Eminem was the standard in the hip hop. When it came to hip hop,
when it came to skills, when it came to your wordplay and how you sold, Eminem matched everything. And just the only thing that was crazy, he was a white boy. He wasn't black, but he was helping a whole lot of niggas though.
I remember at that point, I remember a lot of black people were coming out and just saying, "Yo, if he just says nigga in the song, I don't even care. Fuck. I got whatever." Like, he's one of us.
I didn't go that far, but
you get the drift though, because he never. What it was he
respected the culture.
He respected the culture. He never vultured the culture. He was just being himself, and that's what the culture is all about. Just be yourself and know your history. Respect those who came before you and paved the way, and do what you need to do to set your stone within our culture. It's to this day and age, people are still trying to, when they do the joking, the race drafts. Yeah. Eminem's always number one that they're trying to get. Like, they're trying to give away 20 people they don't consider part of the culture. They're trying to give them away to get M.
Yeah, because M's himself. So after all that, like, M was just he was just a champion. He was champion of the world. He had all the money. He had everything.
And what always happens when you're the champion, you're on top. There's always
that downhill. So then that would lead us to the album I really do not want to talk about, but we have to talk about it. After every big show, there has to be an encore. God, encore. So let me, as a fan, let me just say, leading up to the album, when I was hearing M's verses on like Obi Trice's and 50s, his verse sounded kind of like, they were still raw, but he sounded very like laid back.
I think Patiently Waiting was the last one.
When that was the second track on the album. That was the second track.
It was either Patiently Waiting or We Ain't on.
No, it was Patiently Waiting.
This came out.
It was Patiently Waiting. Yeah. I just remember like listening to M's verses, and he sounded very laid back. Like, he was still spitting, but it was just like, and the verses were cool. It just reminds me of Drake's records, kind of. You know, like he's still spitting, but he doesn't sound inspired. You know what I mean? So Encore came out. No, the first single came out. Oh, it's gonna be the first single. It's gonna be Eminem, Just Lose It. And I'm like, okay, this is gonna be raw. Then I saw the video, and I was like, no, not the video, but I heard the song, and I was just like, what the fuck was this?
Yeah, just lose it. It's infamous.
No. I was like, literally, what in the fuck is this? Like, I heard the song. I heard the song, and I was like,
when it started, just dun dun. Bow, bow, bow.
Like, it was funny. I was like, whoa, hold up. What the fuck is this? Like, what is this?
You know when I completely lost it? Fellas, what? Fellas, grab your left nut and make the right one jealous. What?
Down. And as a fan, I was sitting here like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, you hear this, you're like, wait, didn't I already hear this?
I was like, hold up. Hello, friend. And he was just, now I'm going to the dance floor, to the dance floor. Now everybody board to the dance floor. All right, stop. Pajama time.
I'm telling you, I lost it when he was like, fellas, what?
Fellas.
Because everybody's getting all hyped up. Fellas, what? Fellas, what?
Grab your left nut, make the right one jealous. What? Now, if I can praise the album for a little bit, there were some good
songs. All right.
Okay, there was Evil Deeds, that was good.
Yes.
Never Enough with Nate Dogg.
Yeah.
Yellow Brick Road's very underrated.
I will say that. The first half of the album it's not as strong as the others, but
it gets to, like, Mosh.
Yeah.
I still listen to that every election day. I listen to Mosh.
Puke is nah.
But the thing is, like, we tend to forget that the album did leak. Tracks from the album did leak.
Like Toy
then.
Soldiers was a powerful song.
You know, and
it's actually very haunting to watch the video now.
Yeah, of course. We as Americans, that was a bonus track. That was the one that leaked and Love You More and shit like that. But then after...
Then we go to Rain Man.
Rain Man's when it started getting weird. It was cool, but I was like...
Big weenie.
No, but Rain Man's still kind of dope, though. Kind of just the beat just... I remember Fabulous did a freestyle over that. He did a freestyle over Rain Man. Yeah. I know, Ivana, if you listen to this, you should look that up. Definitely dope.
You know what was one of my favorite songs on this though was Ricky TikTok.
Oh, that was a bonus track. That was when
Ricky TikTok was one of my...
Ricky Ticky Tock, still with the Dicky Dock, still with the Dicky Dock.
Call my name out, things will never be the same.
Call my name out, things will never be the same.
They should have never let us get awkward in this game.
He was rapping on that.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite on the album, but for obvious reasons.
Yeah, because it was the last track. so then after that, I'm listening. But after Just Lose It, the best skit on that, M Calls Paul, because of the Michael Jackson shit. Because if y'all remember, Michael Jackson did not like the Just Lose It video. After everybody that was dissing Michael Jackson at the time, he took offense to Eminem making fun of him.
Yeah.
To this day, that still kind of like weirds me out. But it was like, all right, whatever. So, but his call when he says, with his Paul, got your call about the Michael Jackson thing. Oh, I'll show you really bad. Paul, the way he made me. Just listen to it.
Hey, yo, Paul, it's I got your call about the Michael Jackson thing. And I know that he's not thrilled about the video. What if you want to be starting something? I'll show him who's really bad. Paul, the way you make me feel with these calls, you should really take a look at the man in the mirror and tell him to beat it because I won't stop.
See, I gave him props because he knew all Michael shit. I'm like, oh, you know Michael shit.
Billie Jean video. Well, it'll always be that Michael to me, and it doesn't matter if he's black or white because I can't stop loving him, and I hate plastic surgeons, and I hope they all fucking die.
But y'all got the point. But, excuse me, I'm taking a shit. But then after that, that's when the album started going downhill because then you got Big Weenie. You heard fucking Ass Like That to this day. To this day, I don't know why he released that as a single. He released that song as a single. Like, it was... Like, I was like, you really released that song? And then after that, the album kind of started picking up, and then it just kind of went... And, I mean, the song Encore with Dre and 50 was cool, but other than that... I remember when I first heard it, I was...
Mockingbird was...
Man, I heard it on Haley's song.
Damn.
Yeah, bro. I don't want to hear about your daughters again.
Spend Some Time was... Nah. I thought that was a letdown for me.
It was Stat Quo. It had Stat Quo, 50. Who else was on there? And Obi. Yeah, man.
That was another thing, too. Stat Quo came into the equation.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, Stat Quo can actually
Quo.
spit.
Yeah.
And Stat Quo actually put his main career on the back burner and then pretty much served kind of... He was pretty much the Sci-High of Shady Aftermath.
And Bobby Creekwater.
Cassius. And then Stat Quo ended up dipping with Game.
Yeah, he's
and whatever when they were doing the Firm and all that, and then they ended up with Blood Money. It's been him and Stat Quo. Stat's been behind the scenes, so Stat's
very
actually
behind the scenes. Yeah,
he's actually made
good living.
Yeah, I mean, publicly you'll never know, but if you talk to anybody that knows the business,
you'll know.
But
Encore, as a fan, at first I remember the fans' reaction when the shit leaked. Motherfuckers were in denial. Yeah. They were in denial. They were going like,
weren't
nah.
You one of the ones in denial?
No, but the part was everyone was saying like, nah, man, this is just a fake album. The real album's coming out the real album come out when the album drops. And the album dropped and it was bad.
You know what it was too? Because people were, when the schedule got dropped for the 2004 releases, because this was when Jay at the time had announced that the Black Album was going to be his last album. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people were holding this to just say, okay, well, who's going to close out 2004?
And it was M. He came out in November.
Actually, I'm sorry. Black Album came out 2003. I'm sorry.
Oh, my bad.
I'm sorry. But the point was they were holding comparisons for Jay's album and whatever M was going to drop because they wanted to solidify. Well, Jay's leaving.
Who's going to take his spot?
Who's going to take it? But Jay's leaving. Does his last release can it hold a candle to M? And clearly
it did. Shit. This shit came out in 2004, right? When the College Dropout came out that same year, right?
College Dropout came out 9 months before this drop.
Yeah, well,
so
shit.
Kanye,
Who would have thought Kanye West's debut album was better than Eminem's Encore?
There was, and we'll get to the a Kanye episode later on down the road, obviously. But remember, this was a time when everybody was skeptical of Kanye.
Oh yeah,
because nobody believed he was.
But
that's a producer.
That's a whole other story. But
I mean, Encore in itself is infamous.
Yeah.
Just for the hype that surrounded it, and then in comparison,
it's like a black guy in his career because everyone always says like any rapper who has an album like Encore does not deserve to be the greatest. And I had to defend that album. Then when I got older and I really listened to it, like this shit was trash. What the fuck? And then on top of that, you found out about his pills addiction. You hear about him going to jail. And then on top of that, fucking Proof died. Got shot in the fucking head. Rest in peace to Proof. And then I remember when I found out Proof died, my first thought like, damn, Proof died. Then I really thought about it. I'm like, oh, M's gonna disappear. He's gonna disappear, and then he did come back for the re-up shit. You remember re-up, the Shady, that shit went platinum off one single.
Yeah, you know what it was too. Dre actually took Stat Quo to the side and was like, "Why weren't you on the single?"
What single? Oh, for You Don't Know.
Yeah, he was like, "Why weren't you on there instead of Lloyd?" And he was like, "I don't know." So that kind of,
and also, he had Cassius on there. Oh my god, I remember Cassius.
Cassius was cool. He was.
I remember the Bounty Hound EP. Yeah, and that was it. Yeah, whatever.
He was decent to play a supporting cast, but he wasn't supposed to be on that.
Does
song.
Bobby Creekwater still rap?
I don't know.
I mean, he's been hella quiet. But then, so after that, M disappeared for 4 years. He kind of popped up here and there, but then in 2009. He came back, and this is the album that me and JC argued about. We were arguing about it on the way to the ScHoolboy Q concert, but we're going to argue about it right now. So I'm going to make my defense, and then you could talk. Relapse is a very underrated album. As an Eminem fan, this was exactly what I wanted from Eminem. No, let me talk, and you can get your shit. It was the exact album I want. He rapped his ass off. Dr. Dre produced the entire album, and he was rapping about that crazy serial killer, Slim Shady shit. That's what I want. When I heard it, it was just like, that's what I want. That's what I want. Keep rapping about that crazy shit, you white boy. It was, and to this day, I can still listen to that album, and it's like the way he was rapping, Stay Wide Awake. You cannot tell me you can sit back and listen to Stay Wide Awake and call that album trash. That album, the whole album, with the exception of the first single, was the shit. Relapse is the shit, and to this day, I still wish he would have released Relapse 2. As an M fan, as a core Eminem, I can understand why people like you, don't like it because you didn't feel no growth. But for me, as an M fan, I did not hear him rap like that for the longest time, and it was almost the last time I heard him rap normal. Because now he's just doing that super duper fast flow and doing run-on sentences and shit like that and whatever. But if you want the last essence of Slim Shady, listen to Relapse. So, yeah, that's my defense. Now, say your reasons.
Let's get something clear here. When Relapse dropped, Eminem had nothing to prove to anybody.
Yeah, he did. He had to prove to himself that he had...
Well, he maybe had to prove something to himself. He didn't have nothing to prove to me. I didn't care about his growth. He showed growth from the time that he first came out with his debut to the time up until the highlight of his career. I didn't need to see any growth. I just needed an album to come out that showed that he had flushed out the damn pills.
And he did.
And come to find out, we needed him to be on the damn pills when he dropped this damn album.
Oh my God, he was still on it. He was flushing them out. The whole album.
He was flushing them out. He wasn't putting them in.
Dude, you heard that whole album. He was rapping his ass off.
Look here, when I heard the damn hook, my mom pops volumes and lots of drugs, I legit looked around like, y'all bullshit. Where the album at? Like, for real. Where the album at? For real. Like, this ain't it. This ain't it.
This ain't it. Nah. I can't get jiggy to this.
Nah, you bullshitting me. And then we go, Bagpipes from Baghdad.
That song was dope. You tripping. You hella
tripping. And then we talking about him getting butt fucked as a kid and something like just...
Oh, come on. I was born with a dick in my brain.
Yeah. You know, like, at that point, it's just like, all right, man. Like, at some point, you don't even want to talk about growth. You're just like, all right, like, what do you...
This
you come back with this.
This is your whole thing, huh?
Same song and dance.
Same song and dance with the shit.
Medicine Ball.
Medicine Ball. Medicine Ball was dope. Welcome to the Slim Shady Mecca, Rebecca. That shit was raw. You're not gonna tell me Medicine Ball wasn't raw.
Must be the ganja.
That's a dope song. Must be the ganja was dope. Stay wide awake. I think it's time to bury something.
Sound like a broke-ass superhero theme song.
How did that go?
I don't know. Play it.
I guess it's time for you to hate.
Yeah, there you go. Get to the part.
I guess it's time for you to hate me again. Come on, let's go. It's
like a horrible-ass rough draft of when Christopher Reeves played Superman.
Wow, bro.
I think it's time for you to hate me again. Faster than a speeding bullet down the street.
I mean...
Deja Vu was, man.
Well, you didn't like Deja Vu?
Here's the thing. When you brought this damn album up to me, I remember saying it's trash. You go, which song was trash? And I go, that's the thing. I can't remember any of the damn songs.
Wow, dog. Man, we can disagree to disagree on that, but in my opinion, that was what I wanted from M.
Crack a Bottle. Let's be honest. Crack a Bottle. What'd you think?
That shouldn't have been on the album.
Thank you.
That should have just been a single. That should have just been a single. He should have left that off. He would have. But okay, you ever heard? What about My Darling? You remember My Darling? You didn't like My Darling? Really?
It's a bonus track.
Oh my god, you suck. You didn't like My Darling. Oh my god, you nigger.
Just the album was garbage.
The album was not garbage. The album was
I should prefer Encore over this damn album.
Okay, now you're taking it too damn far. Did Jed York put you up to that?
No, but I'm telling you, because your stanism still won't let you let go.
I love that damn
and call
album. That album's a shit.
And call it what it is.
That album's a shit.
He was flushing pills out, and that was our revelation. That he needed the pills.
You know what's gonna happen? I'm gonna put a fucking poll up on Twitter. I'm gonna ask, is Relapse trash? Yes or no? And then we're gonna talk about it next week.
And you know what the people are gonna say?
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. No, they're gonna say no. All the M fans are gonna say hell no. Yeah. They're gonna say hell no. That's what we're gonna call this episode. The Relapse debate. That's what we're gonna call it.
I don't care what you call it. I do not give a damn what you call it. Just call the damn album trash.
I ain't calling it trash, bruh. I'm never calling the album
Until
trash.
You call the album trash, I am not going to tell you what you want me to say in regards to Jed York. So,
shit.
Yeah.
Damn, that's deep.
It's very, yeah. So you better get thinking these next few months.
All right, then.
Know what I'm saying? It's garbage.
Well, then after fucking Relapse,
then he
he didn't, even though it sold, it went platinum and shit.
Then he got mixed up with Kanye, Lil Wayne, and Drake.
No, and then he did Forever.
Yeah.
Now
that was... I liked that verse.
No, of course you did.
And then it was cool, too, because then that sparked all the rumors when they did the video and Slaughterhouse was behind him.
Yeah, and then that's when I was like, oh shit, he about to slide the Slaughterhouse. Yeah. So then after that...
It took him 2 damn years because everybody's independent labels won't let him go.
Yeah, but then after that, he dropped Recovery.
I like this album.
Yeah, of course you'd like that damn album.
I like this album. I'm not saying it's...
It was his main. It was his fine. I'll do it your way album. That's what I call Recovery. Recovery's fine. I'll do it your way. And the album's good. Don't get me wrong. But the
singles were definitely on point.
Yeah.
There's some really long-lasting singles.
Yeah.
It's just the tracks in between were just nothing more than
tracks in between,
average or filler.
And then, but I remember when the album leaked, and I heard that Rihanna song, "Tell Me," "Love the Way You Lie." When I heard that hook, I'm like, he needs to release this as a single now, and it became his biggest single. Period. And I hated that damn song. Females were rapping along the Eminem lyrics, and I'm looking at them like, you are rapping along. Do you know who you rapping with? Shit.
Oh, you know what else happened at that time too was when he jumped on Roman's Revenge.
Oh my god, I remember that.
Yeah. How'd you feel about that?
When that's back when I was a Nicki fan, and I kind of liked how she rapped. And then when I listen to it now, he did not need to give Nicki that look.
Not Afraid was a nice opener. A nice single.
No, can we talk about the Despicable freestyle though?
We'll get to that.
Okay, because that kind of led into Not Afraid. Because I remember I made a bet with my boy when the album was coming out.
Well, okay, then.
We'll get to... Because I remember when Despicable came out.
Bring up Despicable. Let's get to Despicable.
Let's get to Despicable. Let's see. Where the fuck are you at? Despicable. Here we go. Where the fuck you at? Am I going to play? Yep, right here. Because first off, he raps over Aubrey's beat.
Yeah.
I still know all this shit. So, man, let's go. I come around like what goes around. What goes up must come down. Anyone that comes up must go down. Might as well go for the gusto now. Better not let up. Better not let them breathe. You know, I could keep going.
It was
He rapped his ass off on that.
Which led into Not Afraid, which was a nice, very counterbalance to that.
Yeah.
And kind of...
It was different.
Because this is what I expected on Relapse, where it was... He kind of, bounces back and forth, but then we kind of get, M with the brown hair.
Oh, that was his regular hair color, pretty much. That was his regular hair color.
Yeah, and it was like he was fighting that, I don't even think he gave a Slim Shady on Relapse. He just...
Yeah, he did. That was Slim Shady.
Slim Shady's twisted-ass cousin or something.
Okay, that's a good way to say it. I'll give you that one. That was Slim Shady's twisted-ass cousin. Because it wasn't even a
Slim Shady, voice. It was like a British-ass accent. You're like, listen,
everyone in that goddamn accent.
What the... I can deal with accents. Kendrick is starting to grow into having his little accent. And, I can deal with that. It's just, this wasn't...
what you wanted.
Wasn't what we deserved, either.
Whatever. But anyway, Recovery, it was
Not
his
Afraid.
Not Afraid
was a great one. And then when No Love dropped...
Oh, Lil Wayne, and he just fucking shitted on him?
Man.
Oh, man. Literally
that was nice.
Shitted on his ass.
Because then that also led to Drop the World. They had two collabs that went back to back.
I remember that. And then he fucking shitted on him again, just to prove a point.
And then Won't Back Down.
Oh, yeah,
really good one with Pink. That was a really good one. Yeah. Obviously, Love the Way You Lie.
On Fire.
I like Talking to Myself.
Oh, yeah, that was a good one. That was a nice reflection track. That was a good reflection track.
I like Talking to Myself. Going Through Changes was cool. It was all right.
But Recovery, when we look back at it, it was his most, I guess, it was his official comeback album, I guess, And when I look back at it, I don't really listen to it that much because as a core M fan, I was just like, yeah, And that's when he did the whole Home and Home tour with Hove and shit like that. Then he disappeared for a minute. He dropped the Bad Meets Evil, and then, Shady with the whole Shady 2.0. Mm-hmm. And that led into his last album.
The Marshall
Mathers LP
number
2. So I remember when I first knew he was going to call it the Marshall Mathers LP 2, I was like, I don't know. He made his hair blonde. He doesn't look good with his hair blonde at 40. And I was like, I don't know, man. And I saw the commercial for Berserk, for the Beats, commercial. And I was like, oh shit, this is going to be dope. I love the hook. Then I heard the song. That shit was trash. To this day, I still do not like Berserk. I'm just whatever about that. I kind of grew on it, but I still do not like that damn song. Still don't. Now, the Marshall Mathers LP2, when I listen to it now, I still enjoy it for the most part. Because it's like a reflection on, his whole career, pretty much. 13 years later after the first one, everything that happened, with Rap God, where he really just proved like he could rap his ass off, where he really feels like it, and what else? The song Brainless. That's like vintage.
Well, how this album opened up was genius.
Oh yeah, Bad Guy talking about Stan's brother
Matthew.
Was genius.
It literally takes you back to because I remember going in thinking, okay, let's listen to part 1 real quick. Let's just go through and let's see if there's some Easter eggs that are probably going to show up.
Easter eggs throughout the whole album.
And then the first three damn tracks is nothing but continuations.
Mm-hmm. There was Easter eggs throughout that whole album. There was hella Easter eggs. If you're
Parking Lot was pretty much a great, perfect ass. Oh yeah, we have to finish that story.
What happened at Criminal when he got out the car and then you go right into Rhyme or Reason. We talk about his dad, and then So Much Better was. I didn't really care about Survivor.
Survivor was okay.
What was that one? Legacy. Asshole. I love that song because people call me an asshole.
I love Legacy.
Berserk. Rap God, the shit.
Legacy's one of those songs where you can play out the hook in a dramatic ass film.
They used it for WrestleMania. WrestleMania 30.
But I'm talking about at the time that they... Yeah. I mean, it was going to be used for WrestleMania at the time. At the time when you first heard it, the first thing that came to my mind was oh man, there's going to be some trailers that are going to make this man rich. Even more richer. Yeah. And they're just going to put that in. And then sure enough, WrestleMania came up, they used it.
And then there was Rap God. Rap God is a shit. Still the shit. Brainless is my shit. That's vintage M right there. Stronger Than I Was. No. I didn't. That was when, and then The Monster, his biggest hit was Rihanna again. I got tired of that damn song. So far, that was a good one too. When he kind of complaining about everything that's going on in his life, being old and shit like that, And then Love Game with Kendrick. Man, can we talk about that record?
Go ahead, bring it up. Talk about it.
Love Game. when I saw that Kendrick was gonna be on the album, he just came fresh off of Good Kid, Mad City. People were calling him the best rapper. So I'm thinking, I got two of my favorite rappers on the same track. They're about to start rappity lyrical miracles and shit. No.
It's actually a song about a love game.
Yeah, and I was just like, that was the safe. In my opinion, took the safe way out because he knew what was gonna happen. I feel the only rapper that could out-rap Eminem at this very moment in the mainstream is Kendrick. Yeah. At this very moment. And he just took the safe route because he knew what was going to happen. Good song, but it was disappointing. Because honestly, Kendrick should have been on the bonus track, Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
That man, M was rapping his ass off on there. Like, oh, you took the safe route. Okay, white boy, I see you. And then if you want a track that could put, and then Headlights when he apologized to his mom, like officially apologized, I was like, I remember people were mad that he did that. I'm like, nigga, that's his mom.
Right.
At the end of the day, that is still his mother.
Right.
Don't get mad because he's apologizing to his damn mom.
Well, see, that's the stands coming out of him. Like, I want you to stay this way.
Yeah, I knew. I was happy he did that. And then there was Evil Twin.
Evil Twin was crazy.
That was perfect. That shit was perfect. But when I go back and listen, I mainly listen to like the bonus tracks. The bonus tracks are fucking dope. But after millions of records, so that was the last album he dropped, and that was in 2013.
I mean, let's be clear about this man's legacy too. Let's just be very clear on something. The only time he's not come in number one on the Billboard charts was the Slim Shady LP. Mm-hmm. After that, he's dominated the charts. He's
the artist of the decade. Even his greatest hits album went diamond, bruh.
The greatest hits. The songs you already have on the project you already bought.
Yeah. And they went platinum. That shit went like diamond. To this day, it went diamond. Or did it went platinum? Yeah, 2 times platinum. And I remember I was looking, I was like, who's buying this shit? So, and this was before streaming. This was before all that.
Yeah.
I mean, he has 2 diamond albums. He has 2 diamond albums at Marshall Mathers and Eminem Show. And next to Tupac, he is the highest selling rapper, period. Like Michael Jackson shit.
I just get tired of people downplaying it because I've seen it a few times on social
media.
Because
they're kids. That's why.
Like, they try to downplay this.
Because they're kids.
It's like, first of all, you was watching Rugrats. SpongeBob just came out and you were glued to the TV when this was all going on. You know what I'm saying? Like,
they're just kids. Like, honestly, after the Marshall Mathers LP 2, when I'm done listening to the album, my first thought was like, what does he have to rap about now? I mean, he has absolutely nothing to rap about now.
That's how I feel. I mean, he's just at a point where tomorrow he could, I mean, this is what I thought was going to happen last year. Last year I thought he was going to be like, yeah, so it's the 15-year Shady Records reunion tour.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to tour no more.
But see, that's the thing. Like, but here's the point. Had he done that joint would have sold out in the first
He would have
2 days.
On some Michael shit.
Yeah.
And also when that rumor came out that Drake dissed him, Eminem was the worldwide
the number one trending topic on Twitter
and he didn't even say a word.
You want to know what the number 2 trending topic was?
What?
Slim Shady. The number 1 trending topic was Eminem, and the number 2 trending topic was Slim Shady.
And M didn't say one word. I think that got him excited. Like, oh, he dissed me? No, he didn't diss you. Oh.
M was probably swimming around in money in his house, and he heard.
He probably got.
You know how some people get. He
probably got a text from his daughter.
No, you know how some people they get so worked up where it's like, ooh, a big movie deal, all this money. He probably heard. He goes, somebody dissed me.
I got something to do now. Because
he probably turned around like Jack Nicholson in that one film.
Here's Shady. He probably got a text from his daughter Haley in college. Like, oh yeah, Drake. There's rumors that Drake dissed you. What? Yeah. He was all getting excited, and then he's like, no, he didn't diss you. Oh.
Matter of fact, he invited you out to come on stage.
Oh
man.
Oh, okay.
All right. Well.
I'm gonna go back into my house. Because the thing about M, he just stays in Detroit. He doesn't go to Hollywood. He stays where he's at. He loves Detroit. He stays there because right now Haley's in college. Haley's old now.
Hell, when he was doing the tours, the anger management tour. Mm-hmm. Every night he would fly back to Detroit.
Yeah. Wow. No wonder why he was on them damn pills.
Yeah. You didn't know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. He wouldn't stay at the hotel. He would just fly back every night because he just couldn't stand to be away from Haley and then his niece.
And then he'll go right back on the road the next day.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But at this point, M has nothing else to do. He could appear on like features here and there and shit like that.
I love that.
Yeah, he does. He still does that. He still does that. But there's this rumor coming out right now. I read up on this. It's called The Root or Roots or whatever. It's like a 10-track shit. It's just a rumor. There's nothing in stone yet.
I mean, Lord Sear brought it up, and Lord Sear is a Shady 4-5.
And what did he say?
Just be on the lookout for Roots on Tuesday.
This Tuesday? What?
I don't know if
you said
next Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
Because he said this yesterday. I don't know if he meant today or next Tuesday.
Wouldn't that be some shit? As soon as we're done with this podcast, that shit drop.
Yeah. Matter of fact, let's look at that right now.
Like while JC's looking that up right now. Yeah, at this point, what else is there for Eminem to do?
I really don't think there's nothing much for him. He's done it all.
He's done it all. Like, he's sold the records. He has the respect of his peers. He's done. So
I mean, at the end of the day, that's what you get in this for.
That's what he wanted.
For the skill and to garner respect.
And that's what he got. That's what he wanted. So where would you rank him in your top 10 list?
Top 5.
Oh, okay. You just said that really
top
just
5, dog.
Period. And it's
Tupac, Biggie, Nas, J, M. And not in that order. I'm just naming them.
Okay, well, pretty much for me, if dead or alive, it's Pac, M, Hov, Nas, Kanye. I mean, you can't, like, he's top 5, period, whether you like it or not. Everyone in hip-hop respects that man. It doesn't matter what his skin color is. It doesn't matter nothing. Eminem is one of the greatest of all time. Period.
I'll tell you this right now. When 50 and Game, who have proven to be two of the biggest diss record makers of our time, go out and publicly say,
I ain't dissing that white boy.
Yeah, we ain't messing with the white boy. And they're on his team.
Game said, like, I remember, what was that song called, My Life, with Lil Wayne, when he kind of referenced M and Proof, and he went and changed the line because he knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, no, I don't want no problems.
I remember somebody was going at him, and Game was in an interview, and he's like, just, you don't mess with the white boy. Like, he said it, just, you don't mess with the white boy. He goes, I don't care if I'm on good terms with him or not. He's just talking hypotheticals, but he goes, I don't care if I'm on good terms with him or not. You diss the white boy, I'm coming after you. Like, it's just, that's how much respect he garners from hip-hop heads. Like, we're not even talking about, like, the mainstream acts. Like, oh my god, yeah, he sold the records.
MC.
We're not talking about the guys who talk about record sales. Mm-hmm. We're talking about the guys who have the skill set.
Yes.
And that have proven that over the years. M is always somebody they bring up because of his skill set.
Mm-hmm.
Which says something.
Says a lot. I
mean, in this day and age, sales are cool, but you got to understand, that can't be your end-all, be-all, because they're going to push whoever they want to sell. I mean, when ScHoolboy Boy came out, he was the first social media rapper.
Yep.
So everybody bought it up.
Mm-hmm.
There's no disrespect to Soulja, but it doesn't mean the quality of his music is
bad.
It's bad or good. Or it's good.
No,
I mean,
it was bad.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't. Your sales don't overshadow what your quality of music is.
But, you know, to wrap this up, Eminem, happy birthday. You're 44 years old. Maybe a new album's gonna come out. Who knows? A new record, whatever. But I know you're gonna rap your ass off. Personally, fuck it. Just keep rapping. You're my favorite rapper. You got me into hip-hop. You got me into, like, liking all this shit. You know, you're my childhood, and you grew up. Relapse is the shit.
Yeah.
Hey, you said it.
No. I was saying that to catch you. You said it because I was on the phone texting and you wanted to catch me.
Well, on that note, damn, this is a long-ass episode. I hope y'all enjoyed it.
Man.
For all the stands, y'all gonna love this episode. Y'all gonna love this shit. So, for Ivana, she'll be back next week.
I got one message from old girl.
What did she say?
She says she wants everybody that's listening to know you need to get your asses out there and vote.
Yeah.
And black is beautiful.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
This is episode 15.
Go vote.
This is episode 15.
Start getting ready. Don't be them damn hipsters that be like, well, I ain't gonna vote for either, or I'm gonna vote for the damn third party. Because to tell you the truth, I heard about some of them third parties, and third parties ain't that much damn better than the options you already got.
Okay, well, that was episode 15, 1 in 5. Fuck Jed York, fuck Donald Trump.
You just saying that because
Slim Shady.
Bitch.